As former LSU quarterback Max Johnson officially hit the transfer portal as of last night, I want to take a few minutes and look at some of the film of Max Johnson from this year and look at some of the strength areas and some improvement areas as well. But overall, I think Max Johnson is a very, very good quarterback, and I think any team is going to be happy to get him. I'm not sure why he's transferring or what's going on. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments below because I'm kind of interested. But again, the point of this video is just to break down what Max Johnson does as a quarterback. So we're going to look at some strengths and some improvement areas. And real quick, before we look at the actual film, I think Max Johnson was one of the more underrated quarterbacks in college football. And I know LSU didn't have a great season, and Johnson took some criticism, and he has some areas to improve on. But if you look at it from like the grand scheme of things, LSU didn't get a run game going until the end of the season, right? They had a great game against Florida running the ball. I think a decent game against Alabama, maybe running the ball. But regardless, most of the season, they were one-dimensional, and everyone knew they were throwing the ball. So there's a lot of pressure on Max Johnson to deliver. And he had a good season, right? He was 27 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. Some areas to improve on, but overall, he has a lot of experience, right? If you look even from 2019, those last 2 games, add those stats in, he has 38 total touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. So I think Johnson is a good quality quarterback who I think is gonna find a good place and continue the success that he had at LSU. So real quick, we're going to dive into the strength areas. And the big takeaways here that I think he does a really good job is whenever he is decisive, he does a really good job reading pre-snap to post-snap. Okay, so really good job deciphering the defense, making good decisions whenever he is decisive. Now we're going to talk about the other side here in a second. But when Johnson's on, he's very good at processing information. Those are very, very catchable ball. And just has a lot of experience in general. So a lot of good things to like about Johnson. Catchable ball, processes information very quickly whenever he is on. The areas he wants to work on is sometimes he does hold on the ball a bit too much. I think his strength of processing defense can sometimes cause him to hold on the ball a bit too much. We're going to see him take some unwanted sacks. We're going to see him not put enough juice in the ball at times, and then just kind of fall away from your throws, which goes back into holding the ball to a bit too long, holding on to the ball a bit too long. But overall, I think Johnson's got a lot of potential. There's a lot of things to like about him, but I wanted to show the strengths and the improvement areas. So we'll dive into the film, but before we do, I just want to encourage you all to consider subscribing to the channel if you like any quarterback-related content. Let's get into the Max Johnson film. So here's an example of when Johnson's at his best, right? Like we talked about, whenever he's able to make a read pre-snap and then change that read post-snap is when I think Johnson's at his best and we're able to decipher the defense, quick, decisive decisions. So we're going to see just a kind of a RPO type scheme play here, fake here, and then just a glance, little slant route behind the backers here. We're going to see everyone creeps up here, so there's no one in the middle of the space. If this backer was to come back here, that would change things. But we'll watch the snap of the ball. Backer comes in. Right now, Max Johnson's like, okay, that's the slant. This is the glance, right? Glance route being the slot receiver glances in. If the safety comes in, he goes. If the safety's way off, the backers come in. This is where you glance in. You run like a little slant / skinny post route, which is exactly what he does. Johnson hits him in stride, boom, gets a first down there. So again, one of the things Johnson does really well whenever he's on is just being decisive, making those quick reads from pre-snap to post-snap and delivering an accurate ball. So easy little kind of glance throw again, just like the previous video, but it is a good example of Johnson making a good read and seeing what they're doing right at the snap of the ball, right? This is when Johnson's decisive. We're going to see the safety come down here, and right off the bat, Johnson knows that's where the ball is going. He's replacing where the safety's coming from. You got this fake run going on here, so Johnson's able to keep the ball and make a good throw for a first down to his receiver. Again, key the safety here, right? That's who Johnson's looking at. Sees him come down, pulls it. Again, not a lot of space here for error, but Johnson, as the receiver, does a good job running that route, glancing in. Johnson throws a good ball for a first down. Good. Kind of it looks like a basic 11-yard play, but it's a good example of showing Johnson reading one thing, pre-snap to post-snap, making a good decisive throw. So here's the throw against Texas A&M. I really like this throw. I think does a good job showing Johnson processing information kind of at full speed here. And A&M is going to bring some pressure. Johnson does a good job staying in the pocket. LSU does a good job picking it up, and we're going to see the slot receiver running a little slant route here, and Johnson is reading this DB here. So we'll pause it here in a second. You can see his read. So right now Johnson knows, okay, I'm throwing this slant here because you got this backer covering this guy. Actually a pretty good pocket by his offensive line, but he's reading this DB here. The DB is outside the receiver. Receiver's able to come in here right when the receiver breaks. Ball comes out. Boom. Good job by Johnson there for a first down. But a good example of him processing defense during like during a full speed play essentially, and throwing that slant route. So here's a touchdown pass from Johnson against Florida here. And this is what I mean by throwing a very catchable ball here, right? Catchable ball meaning that's not too high. It's not too much of a bomb throw, but it's not too much of a rocket either. It's kind of right in between, which a lot of times that's what coverages and throws calls for, right? And so it's a good job by Johnson throwing that touchdown to the slot receiver running a little post route here. There's not a lot of room for error and his pressure in his face, but he's able to make an accurate throw and let his receiver go get it here. Boom. We see he does throw his back foot right, but for this point, you have to. There's pressure in your face. And we're going to see this accurate throw because it's good coverage. I know the footage is draining. I'm sorry, but you can see there's not much room for error. Those are very catchable ball for the receiver. Receiver's able to make a good catch for a touchdown there. So again, just an example of what a catchable ball looks like. We'll watch another clip or two of a catchable ball, but just wanted to show this clip of Johnson. So here's the game-winning touchdown pass from Johnson to not Texas A&M, against Texas A&M, right? So he's throwing to go route to the receiver in the bottom of the top of the screen here. And again, very, very catchable ball. And there's a lot of things you like about Johnson on this play. He's going to take a hit. It's 3rd and 10, 26 seconds left, and delivers a hell of a ball for the game-winning touchdown. One of my favorite throws of Johnson from this year and in all of college football, right? Because this gets you to a bowl game. A lot of things going on here in this throw. So we're going to see pressure comes in. LSU brings pressure, takes the hit there, right? So boom, get hit as he throws the ball. And watch this ball placement. Perfect throw. Catchable ball. Makes it easy for his receiver. There's not any room for error. Can't throw it behind him. Can't throw it too far out here. Otherwise, the safety will get it and goes in for a touchdown. So great job by Johnson there, throwing a catchable ball while taking a hit for the game-winning touchdown. So a lot of good things in one play that Johnson does well here. We're going to see him hit a deep, I believe a touchdown actually, deep ball to this wheel route here from the slot receiver. Johnson does a good job processing information from pre-snap to post-snap as the safety comes down. The receiver beats his guy, and Johnson has a very catchable ball downfield. So again, let's watch the safety come down. Safety is down here. Let's see, here comes the snap. They do shift one safety. Right off the bat, Johnson knows, okay, this is the guy I'm throwing to. He's even right here, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, so you know he's going to beat his man. Johnson does a good job throwing the ball out. Boom, hits him in stride. Good catchable ball. Does he get in the end zone? I think so. Regardless, great job there by Johnson. Good ball, throwing a catchable ball, but also a good job reading that from pre to post snap. So a lot of good things in one play that Johnson does well. So here's an interception from Johnson against Mississippi State. We're going to see Johnson throws a go route to the receiver on the top of the screen here. And this is an example of just not putting enough juice on the ball and just throwing the ball out there for his receiver to go get kind of aiming the ball, which is something we talked about, a improvement area for Max Johnson. So again, you're going to see the receiver actually beats the DB, and then Johnson just underthrows him, does not just put the ball out there, and the DB is able to make an interception. Good interception at that, but the receiver would be open if the ball was thrown a bit better. Watch him just kind of guide it. Doesn't put enough juice on it, right? So boom, interception. Again, there's plenty of space out here to throw it for potential catch or an incompletion. So again, just an example of putting more juice on the ball, pushing the ball downfield. Just an example right there of an improvement area. So here we have Johnson on 3rd and 8 against Mississippi State here. And just an example of rolling out of the pocket. You have a receiver coming open here, and there's not a ton of pressure in his face. So he has the ability to kind of turn his shoulders and not necessarily step into his throw, but get his weight moving toward his target. And he still kind of falls away throwing the ball, and you see the ball is kind of short. It does not hit the receiver, and the receiver is open. So just an example, again, kind of fading away from the target when you're on the run. So you kind of here, and then so he has... Right, he's kind of falling away here. He has the ability to put more juice on that ball, and then it just kind of hits the ground before hitting the receiver there. So again, just an example of kind of falling away from the target and not getting everything into the target. So here we got an example of Johnson's holding on the ball a little too long. Pressure does get there, but there is time for Johnson to make a decision and to step up a bit quicker here. Again, something that you want to improve on if you're Max Johnson, is holding on the ball a little too long when something's not there. I feel like one of his best qualities is when he is decisive from post-snap to pre-snap, or from pre-snap to post-snap, but then at the same time, like we talked about, sometimes he can hold on the ball too long and take some unwanted sacks. So we'll see here. Again, starts off with a good pocket here, right? One pressure does get in, but again, nothing crazy. Step up, as opposed to stepping up and getting right there. He still stays in the pocket, boom, and then get stripped there. So this is an example of holding on the ball just a little too long, something that he did some at LSU. Just an improvement area on something that he obviously is working on and aiming to improve on. So again, Johnson does a good job processing information when he's on, right? When he's decisive, throws a very catchable ball, has a lot of experience, and has had a lot of success at the SEC level. The areas to work on: not holding on the ball too long, right? Don't let your strength of processing information become a weakness. So don't hold on to the ball too long. Make sure you get enough juice in the ball and don't fall away from your throws. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about Max Johnson? What do you think about him as a quarterback? Where do you think he's going to end up? Why did he leave? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next time on the next quarterback related video.